Model with me for an editorial shoot featuring a new dream team. Guys, this is going to be a little bit different than my normal model with me's because we're actually going to be debunking a couple of modeling myths when it comes to editorial modeling. Let's talk about it. Side note, you will be seeing my hair blown out from the natural afro, so enjoy. Let's first start off with ground rules. What is editorial modeling? I am pulling this definition bar for bar off of Google, so enjoy. And if you want to argue with anybody, argue with Google. What is an editorial model? An editorial model or print model appears in high-end fashion magazines like Vogue. In photo shoots, editorial models showcase the latest designs from a particular fashion designer or clothing brand. And I'm going to stop Google right there because editorial modeling and print modeling are two totally different things. But as I teach inside the Model University, many niches overlap. So yes, you can be an editorial print model. Yes, you can be a print model and never do editorial. Yes, you can be an editorial model and never have any of your work actually printed out. There's so many possibilities there, so much overlap, but that is the general definition of an editorial model. Pause that and listen to it however many times you need to, and let's really get into debunking some myths about editorial modeling. First up, a lot of editorial work does not pay like you guys think it pays. Like, I really gotta just start there first and foremost. Now, granted, I know this seems really crazy because when you think about the models who make the most or like bring in the most income every single year, yes, they do editorial work, but the editorial jobs are not the things that are bringing them in 10 million, 20 million, 40 million dollars. And for the non-supermodels, for your average model who actually makes money as a model full time, editorial work is not carrying a bulk of that income. It either comes from campaigns, commercial work, or things that are put out to print or go on like a national circuit when it comes to like commercials and things like that, where there are buyouts included. So when you're thinking about, oh, well, I want to be like, everybody I saw in America's Next Top Model. I want to be like the people I see in Elle and Vogue. Vogue doesn't even pay. Like, I gotta laugh sometimes because I talk about this a lot inside of Model University. I actually break down, how much money is made based on markets, based on the niche that you do, based on your looks, based on how long you've been doing this, based on representation. Like, I go through all of that when I work with models one-on-one. But when I see models who are just like, out and about on social media and they're aspiring or they've been at this for a long time and they're not making money, but they're trying to be an editorial model, and either that's not the right fit for them niche-wise, meaning they're not a 100% fit for the requirements for an editorial model, but because they love it, because it looks so glamorous, because they've always just wanted to be on these publications and doing the extreme poses and being on covers of magazines, that they think that is what success looks like. So they keep going after that, and you might be one of those models, and that's okay. There's no judgment. I'm just letting you know it doesn't pay. I just want you to be aware that this niche that you keep trying to make fetch happen with doesn't pay money. It doesn't pay money like that, okay? And I'm saying this as a girly who, when she first started out, did a lot of runway and felt like I was just going to be, the next Naomi Campbell. And when I really broke it down and I started to look at like how much money is actually being generated off of some of these niches based on your location, it's wild. Like, that's not where most of the money is coming from. Like, it's not. And if you don't believe me, like, I'm going to share this screenshot because I got it off of Pinterest and it's somebody who like publicly put it out. So like, y'all can't even say that I'm lying, because when I say this to you guys, you're going to think that like, no, show me the receipts, show me the receipts, show me the receipts. Vogue cover. The cover of Vogue ranges between $150 and $175 USD. That's the going rate. And we're not talking about like, oh, mega celebrities that they're paying to be on the cover. Like, we're talking about models. That's what they're getting. What a lot of people don't understand is that when it comes to editorials, it's to boost your fame, boost your notoriety, to get your name out there, to make you seen and recognized in the public eye. It's not meant to pay your bills. And to put it on a smaller scale, even if it's not Vogue, many publications that put out, calls for models for upcoming shoots and spreads, I think the max I've ever seen is like $500. Like a legitimate publication, $500. I'm not talking about the cover contest where they're going to pay you $10K if you promote the crap out of their magazine and say that you're running and get people to vote and pay dollars to vote for you. Like, no, legitimate publications that are like put out to print and in circulation, max I've seen is 500. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. And that's when it does pay. Most of the time, it's exposure. Most of the time, they are paying you in exposure. Yeah, get into that. So when we're thinking about, oh, I want to be an overnight success, I want to be in Vogue, I want to be paying millions of dollars, I want to make that much money overnight, it's not going to come that way. And the more you personally know what works for you as a model, what fits your look, your height, your size, your tattoos, your curly hair, your location, all of that, once you actually understand what works for that, you can actually find a modeling niche that is going to pay you as you are. Okay? Just a thought. Yeah. As you can tell, that's the biggest myth about editorial modeling, which is why I spent so much time on it so that we could really get it. And if you still feel like editorial is the way to go, I highly recommend you to like drop your stats as a model like below, and as well as like your market, so that I can kind of connect the dots for you and maybe even show you different opportunities for what you could do as a model. Now, let's get into some other big myths about editorial modeling. You need to be tall and skinny. I hear that so much, and it's so sad because the way that the industry is evolving, yes, for a vast majority of the modeling industry's history, that has been the moniker, but it's very much so changing. There's a lot more diversity covering covers nowadays as models. So you have just as much opportunity and just as much availability to cover a magazine now more than ever, especially if you're doing self-submission to certain magazines or you're self-publishing yourself. So don't limit yourself. Next up is you have to be young to be an editorial model. Now, granted, you do have a lot of competition from younger models because the earlier you start, the longer your career is, the more acclaim you get, so that by the time you are in your 20s, you have a large body of work that can sustain you and propel you to a lot more like rebookings and growth and consistency work-wise. But it is not a requirement for you to be a certain age to be an editorial model. Though it is preferred, it is not the end-all be-all if you are outside of that and just starting. Case in point, there are many successful editorial models who are over the age of 30. So please, please, please do not limit yourself. Remember, in today's day and age, there are so many more opportunities than there used to be in the long history of the fashion modeling industry. Okay? So I know I only tackled 3 major myths when it comes to editorial modeling inside of this Model With Me video, but I think that they were like the big 3, like something that any and every model just innately thinks is true about editorial modeling. I do want to show you guys what we actually shot. This is just me getting ready. You guys saw the hair process, you saw the makeup process. Like, I should have done the time lapse, but here we are. We're doing the final touches with the accessories and we're about to step onto set. So if you actually want to see me shoot an editorial beauty spread with this amazing team, definitely check out the next video where I'll be showing you the full Model With Me session once I stepped in front of the camera. So don't forget to like this video and hit that subscription bell so that you're notified when I drop the next video. Talk to you soon.